discernment and having mercy. Now, after that, then comes the prophecies. We know the prophecies. We got history too. But what's more important right now is what Yahweh Shah. So you can't teach this word without giving the things that matter the most. That's how you're supposed to teach this word. The things that matter the most, you're supposed to bring those out. What backs that up is Paul. What did Paul say? All things are lawful, but it's not expedient. So that means, okay, yeah, you might bring that out, but that don't have nothing to do with what's going on right now. And then you be like, well, can homos be saved? That don't have shit to do with it. The Lord said he's going to destroy their ass. Why would you be talking about a homo? Do you know homo? But anyway, what I'm saying is, the things that matter the most right now is building brothers' eyes up. When Morpheus was with Neo, what was Morpheus doing to Neo? He was giving him discernment about the Matrix. He opening his eyes up, and then what did Neo say? He said, "My eyes hurt." Right. And Morpheus was like, "Cause you ain't never used them, motherfucker." So what we're doing is we're actually opening up brothers' spiritual eyes, cause if it's left up to these guys that got clout and fame, they're not gonna tell you shit about discerning and like actually believing, because they don't fucking believe themselves, because they've been giving up to their own lust. So now they're gonna have all this info, and they're gonna be a newscaster. They're gonna give you the news and all this shit. That's why I like how we do it. Like, I like how you did that video, how you brought out World War III, but then you totally went into like Yahweh Shah and just believing in shit. And that's the thing guys are not doing. They're not showing men how to believe anymore, because guys think they got it, or the thing is Yahweh Shah left their ass.
Or Esau came up in there.
Yeah, so it's like, it could be just all three. It could be just all three. But how guys are teaching is all fucked up. They're not teaching like the Lord.
Right.
If you we examine the Gospels, we examine the Gospels, so it's like, and we line you up with the gospel, so it's like, if you're not coming like the gospels of Yahweh Shai, if you're not coming like the Lord, then you're a false prophet. It's no dancing around in the fucking middle. Yahweh Shai said, the scribes in Matthew 23, they're going to purposely omit the heavier matters. They're going to do that shit on purpose. Because if you're wicked and you know somebody's righteous, you don't want to have nothing to do with what he's doing. You see what he's doing. He's giving the people faith. Hey, even in the temple, right? Even in the temple, them elders, they seen him teaching faith in the temple. And what happened? The wicked scribes and them elders, they came, they said, who gave you authority to do this in the temple like this? And he was teaching faith. He was teaching faith. That's these guys right now. So by them having that constellation, they're not going to teach faith. They're going to teach the things that's going to keep the fucking crowd around them. And it's not even about the elect anymore. Because if you think about it, if Yahweh Shah said, now Yahweh Shah said this, and it's in the scriptures, he said, the weightier matters of the law are more heavier than anything else that you could talk about. So you gotta wonder in your mind, you gotta be like, well, what's going on with guys? Why are they making these certain things like a big deal? Now we know like we live in a time of prophecy, but what did Yahweh Shah say? You gotta have him down packed, because you can have those prophecies and then you can't even fucking believe. You don't even believe. You can't even see. Like if you was talking to Ray Charles, you could tell him some prophecies, right? Yeah, you can tell Ray Charles some prophecies, but he still can't fucking see. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So what?
Hey, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh B'Shem, Yahweh Shai B'Shem Rakah Kodash, and double honors to the elders before us, man, that brought this word out. Going all the way back to Abba Bivens and the elders that taught us. But saying that, man, it's no respect to persons. As we read the scriptures and we see, certain things that happen throughout the scriptures, you have to maintain your integrity throughout things that are happening, and you can't be in a demonic respect of persons. And you have to ask yourself this, man, if you see men going off, not just in the world or guys that's evident that they're fucking off and shit like that. If you see certain things, you got to ask yourself, within your circle, are you willing to go that distance or that mile to actually say something about it? Or are you one of them type of persons to just not say nothing for the sake of not wanting to look a certain way? If you're a person that take this truth and you're not really speaking on things like that, and you're not really bringing shit out or rebuking, then you're not a man of the Lord. You're not a man of the Lord. If you're holding back your sword from blood, then you're fucking cursed. And like we were saying in the video, you could teach these men all this fucking information and you could bring these prophecies out, but what separates Yahushua and the prophets and the true men of the Lord, they really gave vision. They really gave the sight to see. And when you give the sight to see, sometimes it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, man. It's gonna hurt. But you're giving men the proper sights to see. So what we see in this time, we see a lot of fucking corruption. We see elders in the respect of persons. We see a lot of guys are in the respect of person. We see that elders don't really examine situations really, and they just big guys up. They don't even know guys and never met guys. They just and you know what? A lot of guys are not even discerning through the spirit. They just randomly like guys because they're part of their camp. Now, I'm gonna say this for myself, man. I've met a lot of guys in this truth over the years. And all I'm going to say is, I don't know they ass today. So that means that, well, I know them, but meaning that we're not friends today. A lot of guys, over 95% of guys I've held camp with and did this work with, I'm not around their ass today. Over 90% of guys. So that means that a lot of guys are holding this truth in unrighteousness, and a lot of guys who men like to big up a lot of these guys are corrupt, man. And it's been, over the years, we've seen certain elders, they big guys up and guys fall out the truth. And guys, and the thing about it, the guys are not even doing this work no more. And the guys turn out to be demons fighting on Alex Jones and totally bugged out. Just the spirit totally grabbed away from them. And so that's the thing. The scriptures say it's better to be with the humble than to share the glory with the proud, something like that. I can't think of it right now, but it's in Proverbs. And what's happening is, what we see and what's going on is there's no vision. That guys can't really see. Now, guys know certain things because they've been in this truth, but deeply discerning this thing, guys can't see, man. They can't see through the spirit. It's all carnal, and it's all about who they like. Their respective persons. And if you're not a part of a group, then fuck you. You're nothing out there. You're chopped liver. And that's not the right spirit to be in these last days. And guys talking about judgment. Well, the thing about it is, the Lord could have already judged guys because he got your ass blinded and you can't see. That's judgment right there. See, another thing is, guys talk about judgment, and what you got to understand about judgment, it's not always something carnal. It's not something that's always carnal. It's not something that, like, you watch Looney Tunes and a fucking anvil drop out the fucking sky on somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's not always something carnal. You know what I'm saying? It's not something always carnal. Yahushua taught us to have faith, to walk by faith and not by sight. And so, according to Isaiah 11 and according to Yahushua, he taught us how to see things through the spirit, to see things through faith. And men are not teaching that way in Yahushua because they're not really teaching guys to actually see. What's going on is, like the Lord, like the scripture tell you, the days have to be shortened for the elect's sake, because men become totally corrupt in his word. They become corrupted. So no longer guys are really bringing the word out like how it's supposed to be brought out. It's a respect of persons, and If you're not part of, it's a gang mob. It's a mob, and it's a gang mentality, which that the Lord didn't come in that spirit, but guys are in that spirit to where if you're not part of my group, then fuck you. You see, but the Lord, he never came that way. So when you go to Matthew 24, to really sum this up, the Lord said there are going to be many deceivers, and we've seen men over the years, they lose it. Now the fame and the cloud and all that destroys guys, because you have this thing in your head where you can't be told shit anymore. You're just sitting on high seats, and that's why Matthew 23 guys don't speak on. That's why the Lord just said woe to guys, because guys are going to suffer a great judgment. The Lord is going to bring judgment out. It don't have to be carnal. It don't always have to be like carnal right now. Like the Lord could already judge you by taking your fucking vision away and have you teaching in a fucking reprobate spirit where you can't really discern and you don't have faith. The Lord can do that. He can then have you teaching. So what our job is to actually come in this thing and to tell brothers and say, hey, look, we're at the end of the world now, and a lot of guys have lost the fucking light to see. And these are going to be guys that's in high seats, that's highly revered. But you can't be in a respect of persons, because some guys have lost the light and they still have platforms. A lot of guys are like that. Different groups, all type of groups. That's why we say we don't really have nothing to do with the groups. I mean, we learned under the apostles, but there's a lot of corruption going on, and you have to know how to see and separate yourself. The scriptures say it's good to separate. The scriptures talk about all types of scriptures going into separating yourself so you can be with the Lord. And I'd rather separate myself than to be fucked up with the whole group. But what you have to understand is the elect, they're going to have a different type of eyes to see, man. It's not going to be basic. Guys are giving you basic shit. Like I've said in the video, when the Lord took up James, John, and Peter on that mountain, he revealed to them certain shit. And it's just like right now, a lot of guys, they're stuck in a certain rut where they can't see. They big guys up. They don't even know. They ain't even never met guys. And so carnally, they're like, oh yeah, they part of my camp. Yeah, he's cool. Well, the thing is, if you can't really discern guys and you can't really see, and you keep bigging guys up that ain't right, that's evil, that's part of your group, what do you think the Lord's going to do to guys like that, man? And why do you think we come the way we come? Because me, myself, I've met a lot of guys over the years I've been in this truth. And the thing that I've seen is the overwhelming 90 to 95% of these guys, I'm not around these guys. No, I don't know them anymore. Because what I found out is there are many called and there's only a few chosen. So a lot of guys are very corrupt in these last days. And I want to read this, Matthew chapter 24, verse 21. Yeah, and you can't be in the respect of persons. This is for your salvation. So if you see guys are not really in the spirit and they can't really see or discern, they're only discerning to like a certain point, and it's like they can lead you to a fucking burning building. That's why the Lord told you in Matthew 24, the men that's 23, the men sit on high seats. It's the blind leading the fucking blind. It says, for then shall great tribulation such as not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor shall ever be, except those days be shortened. There should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So the Lord's telling you, if he don't shorten the days, everybody will be corrupt. Now, let alone men that got this truth and what happened is guys became corrupt over the years, man, and we see it. And guys are in the flesh teaching, man. Guys are not in the spirit. They only see this thing of who they like in the flesh. They can't tell through the spirit like if somebody's through the Lord. And when the Lord was on the scene, he could tell if you was of him or if you was a devil or if you was Judas Iscariot. But now guys can't tell who's who in their group. Now it says that if any man say unto you, lo, here is Yahushua, or there, believe it not. And that's what a lot of guys do. They endorse a lot of guys that's not even in the spirit. That's why the Lord said, don't believe that shit. It says, for there shall arise false anointings and false prophets that shall show great signs and wonders, and so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. You see that? So they can fool the majority of the world. There's no respect of persons, man. And we respect men that we learn for, but at the same time, there's no respect of persons. So we see certain things in guys. Personally, if I've met guys, I've met a lot of guys. I've met a lot of guys the apostles like, and they big up. And the thing about it now is a lot of guys are not fucking right through the spirit. And so what's going to happen is that's going to lead a lot of men to destruction, like it's doing. And it's supposed to do that. It's supposed to do that because the way of truth is going to be spoken evil of, and the things of the Lord are actually hidden. They're not out there for everybody, especially right now in the most corrupt time. So I want to read this real quick. That's why Paul warned us. He said, hey, you got to beware of dogs, man. You have to beware of enemies of the cross. So this is Philippians chapter 3, verse 18. So when guys lose Yahweh Shai, because he's the cornerstone, and when they lose the ability to see, that means you have lost the spirit. You have lost the faith. And the thing about it is, you could still teach this word according to the world. So you're going to teach it in a way like you're not going to really come in a manly spirit or use cuss words or this, that, and the third and this. Well, you got to think about it. The elders in Susanna, they became corrupted because of them high seats. And everybody, when you get on high, that's why the Lord ducked from that. You become corrupt and you can't judge anymore, just like Eli and his sons. So I just say that to say that sometimes you have to see this thing, well, all the time, you have to see this for yourself. And men that are not moving in the way of Yahweh Shai, bringing those heavier fucking matters out. Not just going into the black woman all the time and guys in the world, rappers getting shot dead. See, a lot of guys, they're reprobates because of the fame. Guys took the fame and that shit destroyed their ass. So now they're part of the fucking world and you have to be able to see that shit. So it's going to be many guys. Let me read this. Philippians chapter 3, verse 18. For many walk, of whom I have told you often, now I tell you, weeping, that they are enemies of the cross. Now, because the guys have sat on them high seats according to Matthew 23, and because a lot of guys are not able to discern anymore, they become enemies of the Lord because they're not looking at things through the spirit. They're just looking at things through the flesh, or, that's not a good way to look at it, because if somebody's of the Lord and you just be like, fuck them, and I'm not hearing that, then you're gonna destroy yourself. So judgment don't just happen as a motherfucker getting hit by a train or anvil falling out the sky. Judgment can happen when the Lord zap your fucking spirit off your ass because you're holding the Lord's word in unrighteousness. So now you're teaching in an unbelieving spirit like Saul did. You see? So you have a lot of that. That's an example for a lot of men right now. It says, for many walk, Philippians 3:18. Paul said, for many of whom, they go that many again, and demons deal with many. They deal with numbers and shit. And demons come smooth. They don't come hard. They come smooth and shit. And a lot of guys, they're not coming hard. They don't even say cuss words. They're afraid to lose their audience. They want to look good for the people and shit like that. And they can't discern. They can discern everybody else, but the scriptures say, do you actually judge within while you like judging without? And within, I'm going to tell you this, and I know, man, a lot of guys ain't fucking right. And the Lord swallowed up that whole fucking camp just because of Korah. And the thing about it is, it ain't just Korah. It's a lot of guys that ain't right in these groups, man. And so right now at this time, the best thing is to not even, you have to separate yourself, man, to a certain degree. It says, for many of whom I've told you often, now I tell you even weeping, that there are enemies of the cross, whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things. What's some of the earthly things? Women. Well, always bringing women out, like this thing ain't about women. It's about men getting themselves together. Clout, numbers, views, likes, the multitude. These are things earthly. Guys are in the flesh. Guys are in the flesh. Yahweh Shai said he's the heavier matters of the law. So concerning Yahweh Shai, that's where the spirit is. So the less and less guys do sit downs on Yahweh Shai, the more guys are in the spirit. Are in the flesh, and they're minding earthly things. Verse 20, for our conversation is in heaven, from whence we look for the Savior Yahweh Shai Mashiach to come, who shall change our vile bodies, that we may be fashioned unto like his glorious body, according to working whereby he is able to subdue all things. So our conversation is in heaven, and our conversation deals with the heavier matters of the law, faith, mercy, and judgment. And judgment goes into seeing, being able to discern who's of the Lord and who's not, like the Lord could do. He could do that. He perceived what guys were thinking in his head. He perceived who was going to, he knew Judas Iscariot, he was the devil, he was going to betray him. He knew the thoughts of the scribes and Pharisees. That's why he said, just woe to them. And what we're saying too, man, woe to a lot of you guys that have lost it. And you're still teaching his word in a deceiving spirit. Because that is happening. That is happening. And, you know, like I say, man, you have to discern this for yourself. You have to discern this for yourself. But with that, man, Lord willing, that was edifying. And I got to get back in this building. But with that, man, you have to discern this thing for yourself, because a lot of men are going to drag a lot of guys down with them. Misery loves company. So if you really can't see, you're really not going to make it in this time. And with that, shalom.